It's Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, flavour of the month with Little Leeds Beer House. And this month we are cracking into another big can, which Martin is just opening up and pouring into the glass for us. Mate, what have we got here this month?
We've got, it's a collaboration between Magic Rock and Other Half, who are from Brooklyn, and it's called Half Cut, and it's a double IPA.
Ooh.
In big tallboy cans.
Big tallboy cans. And again, fantastic design on these cans.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't fault.
Yeah, black, that black and green. That green stands out so well against that black.
Almost feels fluorescent.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's got some nose.
When I was pouring it, when you were doing the intro, you could smell it straight away.
Oh, I really like the nose on that.
It's like orange tropical juice.
Yeah. Just there's just a little hint of like resinous pine in there as well. Just the most subtle of hint on the aroma.
Now I said this was a double IPA. It's called Half Cut. And it comes in at 8%. It smells like fruit juice. It's got quite a nice sharp tang to it though.
It's very well balanced. Incredibly fruity in the mouth. A lot of body there as well, and there is this kind of, it's like a pithy finish to it as well. That just it gives some bitterness, but it's not overpoweringly bitter.
Yeah, for me it's almost hints of dryness rather than bitterness, but just enough dryness to make me want to quench it again with my glass of fruit juice.
I mean, it's incredibly drinkable, and I'm quite surprised actually, because it is a little on the murky side, but you can kind of see a little bit of light through it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like an orangey. I mean, you've done quite a bit on your glass already, haven't you?
I'm
the bit you can see through things because you've drunk half of it.
Yeah, that's probably. I'm looking through the top of the glass.
I mean, it does say on the notes, we went heavy on the dry hopping with lots more Citra and Mosaic, which I think are two of our favourite hops as well.
Without a doubt.
As well as some Simcoe, Amarillo, and a very catchily titled HBC 438.
Okay, I'm sure that will have some nice flashy names soon.
Hopefully better than the HBC 438. But this is I mean, it says it's got a punchy aroma, super juicy fruit, flavour, soft mouthfeel, which is entirely accurate for what I'm getting on this as well. But what I am quite liking is that sharpness going through it.
I am. And you know, people will know that I'm not a massive fan of maybe this style of double IPA, but actually there's something about this that just takes it a little bit away from the sort of juice bomb, because it does retain that bitterness.
Yeah.
In there,
like I said, there's a sharpness for me which is just cutting through it as well, and I think that's delicious. It's given me that feeling that it is beer as well. Perfect
word for it there, delicious. And it's interesting because you mentioned how quickly it seems to be evaporating from a glass.
Yes. So much so, I'm going to have to open the second can.
I think we're probably going to have to open the second can of this as well.
So much for only being half cut.
Well, yeah, we're going to be fully cut. It's something that's been commented on recently. I know Mark Johnson wrote a post about it in terms of Magic Rock keep putting out these 500ml cans that are ridiculously drinkable, but they're massive. They're massive ABV, and I think what drove that particular post of Mark's was, I think he was drinking Human Cannonball on the way to Hop City, which is like a 40-minute journey from Manchester, and I think he might have done a couple of cans of it.
9.2%.
Yeah. So it's interesting actually that we're now getting big beers that don't even go anywhere near tasting their ABV.
Oh God, no! I mean, you know, so you're getting big beers in big cans. I mean, obviously Cloudwater are doing all their 440s. Magic Rock Tall Boys are all the 500s. Downside of it is my fridge is not designed for cans over the 330s or 355s.
You have to start moving the shelves around.
The shelves around. They haven't been moved for years.
Because traditionally you've always had them set up for a certain size, haven't you? And now all of a sudden we're back to the days of cans the size that you used to get when you used to have a fridge full of Carling.
Yeah, they're the size when you used to buy the slab of 24.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mark's right. This is, they are producing some incredibly drinkable beers. And going back to Magic Rock and Human Cannibal, I think we both enjoyed that iteration this year.
I did.
Probably the best iteration I've tasted.
I've never been a massive fan of Human Cannibal, and I've said many a time that I feel as though it's the uncomfortable middle child of that set of beers. But I really enjoyed it this year. There was something about it that, just incredibly drinkable.
Yeah. Again, I think it had a sharpness going through it as well, and that's where I think I'm made for some of the murky, cloudy, unfined, unpasteurised, whatever you want to call it these days. I think for some of them, I sometimes the mouthfeel is just a bit too soft.
Yeah.
I think I need that sharpness as well.
Just maybe gets a bit thick after a while when you've sat and drunk.
I think this has benefited from being nice and cold as well.
Yeah. We've got it super cold.
Yeah, and it's delicious.
And when it's literally, we're draining this.
Yeah, and it's not even it's a bit of a muggy day, the day we're recording, but a hot sunny day, I think this would go even quicker.
This is most smashable.
Yeah, smashable. There's a word, Steve.
There's a word, smashable.
Have we trademarked that? Have you trademarked that?
I'm in the process of maybe trademarking it, yeah. So this is, as you say, it's a collaboration between Magic Rock and Other Half, which was done when Other Half came over for Hop City, which we had last month, which Little Leeds Beer House were one of the sponsors of. I was lucky enough to get up there I was allowed an hour in there. I went with my...
You're heavily negotiated
and
bribed.
I went with my two sons, who are not yet quite of beer festival going age, but I convinced them to let me have an hour in Hop City. And I've said this on our main podcast, but I just want to reiterate it now, that I think in terms of festivals in the UK, I think this is going to become the new must-attend festival, because
sounded amazing.
The setup was perfect. It didn't feel too busy. Great token system. Lots of space to move around. Fantastic venue as it is at the Northern Monk Refectory.
It's that location thing again, isn't it?
Yeah. But spread out using all three floors. So used their event space at the top, tap room in the middle, and actually made some space in the brewery for some bars as well, in the actual brewing area.
What about the outside bit where they had a bit of seating? I mean, they'd be able to use that as well, wouldn't they?
They used that. There was some covered areas as well. Their food trucks are out there as well. The one downside, and again, it's a grumble that you and I always have, maybe the music was a little bit too loud in some of the rooms. But some people like it, some people don't. It's a difficult balance, I would have thought.
I'm sure we can always revisit that one day.
I'm sure we can.
Beer festivals, music, children.
But Other Half were one of a number of breweries that came over from the US to serve their beers exclusively at that festival, and I know they got around and did a few collabs while they were over here. So
might as well max out the time where you're over here. You pay, it's a lot of money to get over here.
Yes, absolutely.
You might as well make the most of it.
Yeah, and now we're 5 weeks on. We're beginning to see the results of these collabs. So this is the first one.
Well, this is my first experience of them.
That's come out. I understand there's one on the way out from Northern Monk as well, who have collabed either possibly with Other Half as well. So they certainly got around while they was over here to do a few collabs.
Yeah, makes sense. Like I said, this is my first experience of them, and they're doing something with a brewery which we both know and love. It's a good collab so far, and I can't imagine they'd put out a bad one with Northern Monk. No, some of the stuff Northern Monk are churning out.
I'm really enjoying it. I mean, that's an incredible beer.
It is.
That is really good.
It is really good. That's gone quite high up in the charts for this month.
Yeah. So what's that? What's the ABV on it?
8%.
8%.
Yep.
Double IPA. Yeah. Pretty good stuff. Happy with that.
Yeah, but I mean, they make a note of saying it's a low bitterness target for a dipper of around 60 IBU. I mean, I'm not very good at scaling, but I would have said less if someone had asked me. Because we used to have the days when you were going into three figures for IBUs, didn't you? And this feels a million miles away.
That's what it used to be about. What is it about? How bitter can you make a beer and people still stomach it?
But and they've used a large percentage of oats in the mash for a creamy body and soft mouthfeel. But it does feel like they've got the balance just spot on. It hasn't got that real, it's filling me up quality.
Yeah.
It is, for an 8% dipper, you know, it is sharp, it's fruity, it's smooth, and it is bloody drinkable. This is.
It's ridiculously drinkable. I think you've summed it up perfectly there, and everything you've said. They've nailed the balance of it. It's very, very smooth, but it does have this underlying bitterness to it. Not overpowering, but there's enough there so that you know it's there.
Yeah, and I think that actually grows a little bit as well.
Yeah. I imagine as it begins to warm in the glass, it will probably come through even more.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to get that chance.
No, tonight it won't.
Because we are flying through this. So just as we started still on Flavour of the Month now, just to wrap up maybe some of the other big releases of the last month, 6 weeks that you might have come across, and we'd love to hear your thoughts on whether you've tried any of these and what you thought of them, really. So we'll start with Magic Rock. Unless you've had your head buried in the sand, you couldn't have missed the release of this year's Human and Unhuman Cannonballs, again in 500ml cans. Fantastically though, everywhere this year.
Yeah.
No need to worry about not being able to get your hands on that beer anymore.
Yeah, they've churned out a lot more of it. I mean, I think capacity was upped anyway from last year. Plus, you're not trying to put it into 660 bottles.
Yeah, you're bringing it down, so you've got more.
You've got more to give out, and I haven't seen anyone crying or bemoaning not being able to get hold of it. I think there was still a rush on the day. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and Magic Rock website crashed again. But I don't think we'll see that next year because I think people will know it's around. Also, another collab that Magic Rock put out at the same time as the Half Cut was one called Grower Owned, which was an IPA, which was a collab with YCHA Hops. Now these are the people that are supplying them with their hops at the moment. They were also at Hop City, and they've done a few collabs with people as well. So what we're actually now seeing is a hop grower doing collaboration beers. So we're moving away from breweries doing collabs with breweries, and we've now got ingredient farmers.
So you could have a maltster doing it as well.
Could you imagine?
A maltster, a hop grower, and a brewer,
and a yeast cultivator.
Well, that was well said.
But
I'm impressed. You got that all out in one go.
That's what it's early on. That's what Northern Monk did last year, essentially, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But they did it with breweries, but focused on
the essential ingredients, wasn't it?
While we're talking about Northern Monk, they've released this year's iteration of the beer that was originally a collab last year with Little Leeds Beer House for their first birthday, which was the Neapolitan Ice Cream Pale Ale. That's back out in cans this year. Fairly widely available, I think, as well.
Yeah, I'd love to give it a go again because I thought it was amazing last year.
Really kind of did what it said on the tin.
Yeah, but still amazingly did what it said on the tin.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just a few others. So all of these ones all coming in 440ml cans. So Verdant put out Roy I Want Hilux, which is a beer we've featured on Flavour of the Month before, has now gone into big cans.
Okay.
So that's no longer in 330ml. Even Sharks Need Water and Putty. Putty being a double IPA, which for a lot of people was their beer of Hop City as well. A lot of people saying that was the best beer in the place.
Okay.
On the weekend. So
you
probably won't get hold of that.
Competition, wasn't it?
Very stiff competition. You probably won't get hold of that now, but it'd be great to hear if you've had that and what you thought of it. And then Cloudwater have been churning out some new cans as well. So double dry hopped Southern Passion Pal, and the first of their new dipper series, the Northwest Dipper Citra. And I think you've had
I tried it over the weekend.
Latter.
Yes, I tried it over the weekend. It was nice, but for me, the only thing, again, if I compare it directly to the one we've been featuring tonight, is that it's perhaps got too much body. It's got too much of the oats in it. So where I think adding oats to the mix is really good is when you're trying to do a lower ABV beer and you want to give it that fullness of flavour and fullness of mouthfeel. I think that with these, I mean the NW Dipper is I think 9% again. You almost don't need so much. You've got all that alcohol in there as well. Yeah. Again, a really good example of what they do and what they're aiming to do. But for me, it would be a notch underneath what we've tried tonight. Mm-hmm. I'd be really interested to see what other people think.
It'd be great to hear people's views on it. So, final thoughts on this one as it is almost drawn from our glasses. And you were having a go at me at the beginning about it disappearing.
Yeah, well, you started reading out a list and I thought, well, I can start drinking again now. I don't know if there's much more for me to say. I think this is one of the best beers I've had for a long while, actually, in this sort of ilk. Because it has got that sharpness to it, it has got an underlying bitterness and dryness to it, as well as having that punchy, fruity aroma and flavour. Yeah, I mean it's really good. And having it nice. It wasn't quite ice cold, but it was getting towards it. I think it's really made it for me.
I think I'm not going to disagree with you, and I don't even think I'm going to add anything. Everything that you've just said there sums up how I feel about this beer. It's just so drinkable, really, really enjoyable. I've really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, so thanks to Rich.
Yeah, thanks to Richard Bryony from Little Leeds Beer House for supplying the beers tonight. If you are in Leeds, make sure to pop into the shop for all of your beery needs. But say hi to the guys as well, because they're there, they're happy to chat, and they do have beers on tap as well. So you can go in and have some of that. Follow them on Twitter at Little Leeds Beer for updates as to what they're got in store at the moment. So until next month, mate. Cheers.